Hey, this is the fourth and final make and take of the 2022 spring retreat. So make and take number 4, we're going to use In Full Bloom again. So we're going to use that paper and this stamp set again. This is that In Full Bloom card making. So here I am. It is actually Tuesday night. My sample's a little wet, so I didn't put it underneath there because I've had it cut, ready to go, just haven't made it. So here it is. We are going to use this stamp. We're going to do a couple of different things on this one. We're going to use some stickles. We're going to use some of our loose sequins. We're going to use a stencil and some different things that we're going to do on this particular card. And it's really cute. So I'm going to hold it up so you can hopefully see. There we go. So it's got a couple of stickles in the center. And then I put some of the loose sequins on, and I put a little bit of stickles in the middle. Those are the diamond stickles. Okay, so let's get making our card. You're going to have your packet. Here's your packet. Doesn't look like a whole lot, does it? But it's a lot. It's really pretty when we get done. So I'm going to set that over there. So we get done. In your packet, you're going to have all the pieces that you need to of cardstock and whatever to use that. Again, don't forget about our great cards and envelopes. A 50 pack for like $17, I think, with shipping and tax included. The thin cut and stamp set In Full Bloom. So I'm going to put my envelope kind of off to the side. Don't forget about your envelope. You can always add, some stamps or different things to it. So I'm going to take my bone folder, which you'll have. Go ahead and just crease that line again. I'm going to take my bigger of the two pattern papers, and I'm going to put it on the bottom. And I'm going to put it there right away. So I'm going to take it and just put my adhesive on. This gives me the place to stamp and to ink. All right. So we're going to do some sponging. The first thing we're going to sponge is Glacier. We're going to do the Glacier. So this is the lighter one. And I'm going to take that sponge again. And I'm going to just go back and forth. And I'm going to create a U. It's pretty light. But I'm just going to kind of create this U in the middle and then just kind of fill it in. Now I can rub a little bit of it as well. You can see on this one, there are spots that are darker and lighter. So it's okay. I can kind of come in and fill in these corners and fill in the middle a little bit. If you're doing this with a partner with someone else, you guys can be sharing the ink while you're doing this. Again, this is Glacier, not Lagoon, because we're going to use two different inks on this particular one. I'm going to do a little rubbing just to kind of give it a little. So I did that spun, the like blotting, and I'm just going to do a little rubbing in there. It fills in those holes. All right. You can do as much or as little as you want. So we're done with our Glacier. I'm going to put that over on this side. Then we're going to bring on out our Lagoon. And I am going to, you guys are going to have paper. So I'm just going to use some scratch paper. But you could use our Versamat, which is awesome. This Versamat. Let's use the Versamat. Okay. Put that up there so we don't disrupt it. It's huge. I don't need all of it. I'm just going to take a little corner of it. It's sticky on one side, and then it's a Teflon sheet on the other. So I'm going to take my little lagoon strip. I'm on the light side of it. And here we've got our stencil. And I am going to go ahead and just put our stencil down. I'm not going to tape it or anything like that. Open up my ink. I've got my sponge with lagoon on it. And I'm just going to start sponging. Now I'm going to kind of stop and give it a little twirl, just so I get all of those little edges. One of our cards for the National Scrapbook Day card kit is all done with sponging. It is so cool. And stencils. So stencils and our Distress Oxide ink. There we go. Look at that. How cool was that? We just made our own new pattern paper. Sweet. All right. So we can put that off to the side. You can just take a baby wipe or the stamp chamois and clean that off. So again, you can use just a scrap piece of paper or the all-purpose mat right on top of my Versamat. I am going to, as long as I'm working with this one, I'm going to do a little pennant cut. I like to fold in half, pinch the corners, not fold them, just kind of pinch them, and then cut. All right, so we've got those done. Now we're going to do our, oh, we might as well cut this one. This guy too, we're going to cut into a pennant. So we just pinch the corners, go from corner to fold, and you have a nice even fold. Okay, so those are done. We're going to use our Lagoon ink this time. For this one, you definitely need to have that foam underneath. Because this is a bigger stamp, it's a line stamp, so it's not solid, but it is a bigger stamp. So I'm just going to, especially with thin cuts, you want it just to kind of let it do its own shape. I'm going to grab our 4x4 block. It just fits on here. Okay. And I have used it before, so I don't necessarily have to season it. And now I'm going to ink it. And I like to ink. I know some people like to go like this. I like to see where I'm inking. So I usually put my stamp onto the ink. And then I can see right up front what I'm doing. Now here's the important step. Because we're going to do this right on our card, I'm going to go ahead, make sure I don't have any of this ink anywhere on my block. Wipe it off with my stamp chamois. And now I'm going to come to my card. Oh, I had it on my finger. That's all right. We'll make sure that. And I'm going to stamp it just a little bit above that and straight down. Now, because this block is big, I'm going to walk my fingers around this entire section here. And there we have it. I can wipe up. And with this one, for sure, if you're passing it on to someone else, make sure you wipe it off. It'll help keep the block nice and clean. All right. I don't think that'll come off. No, we'll make it work. So, is that pretty cool? I think it's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to stamp the last bit of stamping in our regular black, because we're not going to go over it with any inks or anything like that. And we're going to do Love Blooms Where You Are. We use our 1.5 inch by 1 inch block. Again, I've used it before, so I don't have to season it. And I'm just going to stamp it in between. Love Blooms Where You Are. Isn't that really a cool effect with that shading in the back? I think that's a really neat technique Super easy to do. You've already got almost all the supplies. You probably have all the supplies to do that. Inks and a sponge. All right, so let's finish our card. I'm going to go ahead and add my pennant here. I'm going to put this one just a little bit. It's going to overlap it just a little bit. Again, I like to kind of use that so I'm eyeing up the right spot. And we're going to go ahead with this one that we just created right below it. And now I'm going to come in with some of my sequins and my stickles. I'm going to go ahead and add two. So I put 2 black dots of glue. I'm going to use that pickup tool again. This is one of our really cool little containers. There's 3-pack. I think they're only shown online. But check out how you can pick up sequins. I can turn it right around. And I can put it right down on there. Now I'm going to try and get 2 of the same ones. They're the same shade. So there's stars in here. There's white. There's gold. There's clear, iridescent. All kinds of them in here. So just pick 2 that are the same or approximately the same size. But this pickup tool works really good to pick up 1 or 2 of them. So, all right, so you'll have those. And then I am going to take our diamond stickles and I'm just going to add some stickles as centers, just a couple of dots as the centers of the flowers. And stickles is a glitter glue. And I do have some of it in Cash and Carry. And if you want, on those white ones, I just did a little dot of it in the center of the sequin. If you had a little small gem, that would look good in there or whatever. But there it is. And you just hold your finger right there and no one knows that that's there. All right, guys. This was our last make and take. I hope you enjoyed them. Don't forget, our next retreat is going to be in September. I think it's the 23rd through the 25th of September. So hopefully you can join us for that. Thanks.